Hey everybody, my name's Craig. Welcome to my channel. This is 5 minutes a day for November 30th, 2018. Today I don't really know what I'm going to talk about today. So I guess I'll just start the timer and we'll see what comes out. 5 minutes starts right now. So originally I was going to talk today about kind of the idea surrounding this thing we hear all the time is that comparison is the thief of joy. And honestly, I just disagree with that. It's not comparison that's the problem, it's bad comparison. If you only compare in one direction, so if you only look at people that you think are better than you or way richer or whatever, and you never look back the other way and see people that you don't necessarily think are better than you or don't have what you have. So if you're looking at like wealth and you say, oh, look at this person, they're doing all these things all the time and I wish I could be like them, you see yourself in your life as crappy and that you can't do all the things they do. But if you take the second and make sure and look both directions and see the people that don't have what you have, then you can realize that there are things that you can aspire to, things you can look forward to, look up to, and then there's things that you can be grateful for, and things that see the power and the wealth that you have that other people might not. And if you balance those two out, you can get something good. Another thing on that is be careful where you look, because not everywhere online is true or real. Or and another a lot of there's the kind of fake online stuff where people just put up there what they want to be, not who they actually are. Another thing that I was thinking about was the difference between instrumental and innate valuing. And I think we get this one wrong a lot. The difference is an instrumental valuing and evaluation stuff is something we do all the time. We see something we like or don't like, we see something as good or bad, we see something as better or worse, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. The problem is when we use it out of context, or we use things to be innate or existential, or to judge the very, very core soul, if you will, of a person based on something that's not to that level. Like, hey, I've got these pair of scissors. We think of scissors as good or bad depending on how well they cut things. And you can have different types of scissors. So, these are for cutting, general scissors and papers and stuff. And you can have the safety scissors that have the crinkle cut. And if I tried to cut a straight line with those, it'd be awful. But if I wanted to do a crinkly cut line on cardboard paper for some crafts or something, that would be perfect. It'd be great. But I don't think scissors have like some innate value to them. And I was thinking also that these are useful and good, but then I think I've got somewhere, like, so let's say I had some scissors that my grandmother had that she used to make clothes for my mom. They're probably not any good anymore. They're probably dull and maybe even rusted a little bit, and their value to me isn't based on how well they cut, but the value they had for someone in my past. Kind of a nostalgic or sentimental value, but that's still a value I place on it based on what it was good for. When we do that with people, it gets complicated because there is some value with that. I like to date certain kinds of people, and if I look at a person as towards a potential date, then there will be better and worse people in that. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with having preferences on a lot of things, and preferences even in dating. The problem comes when I take those preferences and try to make them the core value of that human being. Like if they don't measure up to my standard of dating and I don't want to date them, then that means they're bad or terrible or awful or wrong. And this is what happens in a lot of those stories where you hear a guy gets and it's almost always a guy, gets rejected by a woman and he goes on some spree, or you see these posts on social media where a woman on a dating site tells a guy no, and so he goes and finds her on some other website and harasses her and calls her all these horrible names just because she had the gall to not want him. And that's wrong. That's just wrong. They're taking their preference and escalating it up to that person's core value, and I just ran out of time. So I'll probably pick this back up tomorrow, because I think talking about the difference between instrumental and innate values, and how, you know, we all have these kind of, at least we have, depending on where you think they come from, whether it's from like God or the universe, or we as humans agree that we have these certain unalienable rights, or inalienable rights, or civil rights, or human rights, or whatever. That is something else. And so if we do that, I think it'd be, and know the difference between those two, I think it'd be a lot better. And so I'll get back to that tomorrow, because I ran out of time. And it's not very good 5 minutes a day if it's not, the content isn't 5 minutes a day. So I'll come back to that tomorrow, maybe the next day. But anyway, you'll have a wonderful Friday night, and I will talk to you tomorrow. If you like what you saw, then like the video. If you want to hear more, subscribe. If you have anything to say to me or want me to talk about something, put it in the comments, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Have a great night. Peace.